are afraid of like danger and threats, and men are afraid of perceived social situations. That's the difference here.
Let's do it. The After Party podcast is on. We've got Scotty B over there in the killer. Who are you killing? Serial Killers podcast room. Also, Gandhi's here, and there's Scary. Producer Sam is here. There's Danielle and Straight Nate.
Yes.
So, we talk about traveling a lot on this show. And so our friend Jill, let me get Jill on here. Hello, Jill.
Hi.
We're just talking about how we talk about travel a lot on the show. We also talk about solo travel a lot.
Oh.
So,
okay.
Jill, you just got back from a solo vacation, and you definitely had, naturally, reservations before you took a vacation by yourself. But now, after your vacation, what do you think? What say you?
Every single adult needs to go on vacation by themselves,
I
especially
love
if you have kids.
Talk about what happened to you.
My mom and I were supposed to go away to Charleston. She had gotten ill. She's fine now, but she didn't think she'd be up to walking the 20,000 steps a day that I ended up doing. So we ended up canceling her tickets. Mine were non-refundable. So my husband and I talked about it, and he said, you should go. And I'm like, I've never traveled alone before. Like, this is not like I'm meeting people out there and flying by myself. Like, I'm going to be eating alone, walking around alone. I don't know where I am. I don't know anybody. And he said, just do it. So I did. It was the most incredible 4 days that I've had since, I mean, the kids being born, of course, but I felt like me again. Not mom, not wife. I just felt like a person again.
Wow. Now, that is a glowing endorsement right there. Yeah. So when you got off the plane, were you still in your, oh gosh, I may regret this mode? And if so, what was it that first gave you the feeling that this was a great idea?
When I first got off the plane, I thanked God because we had mechanical issues and had to deplane. So I had to do my first layover, which I've never done before, and then we had mechanical issues, and I just kept thinking, is this a sign I should not have done this? But it worked out. Everything was great. The thing that really changed it was I arranged for a car service that I saw on Facebook while I was looking up different things to do in Charleston, and everybody was recommending this car service. So I reached out to him. Turns out we grew up 15 minutes away from each other. He moved down there 20 years ago, and we were speaking. He's like, anywhere you want to go, just call me. Him and his brother have a car service. He made me feel so comfortable. He gave me advice on where I should go, things I should do. I left with a new tattoo. Like, it was such an incredible trip.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Now you're making each and every one of us so anxious about going out and traveling by ourselves. I would love to do that. What's up, Gandhi?
So is this going to be a one and done for you, or do you think you're going to travel more alone? And would you leave the country by yourself?
I don't know about leaving the country by myself. I mean, I was crying at the airport worrying about leaving the kids behind. You know, you always worry about worst case scenario, and I want to see my kids grow up. What if something happens to me? So maybe another country I wouldn't do alone, but I would definitely do somewhere in the United States alone. I would love to replan a trip with Mom.
Next time you come here, you do Chinatown alone, and they give you the fake bags. You go in the back. That's something in itself. If you can get through that.
Well, Danielle, I grew up in New York, and I went to college out in Pennsylvania. And when I graduated, I picked up and moved to Brooklyn, not knowing anybody. I knew one person that I met randomly a couple months before. We rented an apartment for 2 months together before I got my own place. And this is what I felt like again, that I was that person who was fearless, who could go out and do anything and be somebody. It was incredible.
How fun. You know, there are so many people listening, as I said, who are now starting to think it through, maybe looking at their calendars, plotting your course. Other people are going, no, I can't do it. Never could in a million years travel by myself. I don't know if it's. Well, what are you nervous about? Like,
I know what I'm nervous about.
Eating alone.
That? Well, no, not eating alone. My family has me so convinced that someone's going to snatch me off the streets and I'll be, like harvested for kidneys or something.
Oh, please.
And, if something happens to you, you always want a person there with you to, look out for you. But traveling alone seems like the best thing you could ever do. So what do you risk it? I guess?
If anyone snatches you off the street, it's a matter of moments till they bring you back.
That's parents used to say.
Yeah.
That's what my husband said.
My thing is this: when I go someplace and I'm by myself for business or whatever, and I experience something, I want more than anything to have someone I love right there next to me experiencing the same thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they're not. It's just me.
Yep.
Then I have to go home and put it into words, which is never, ever.
Never the same.
Yeah, it's not the same. You know?
I think
Yeah. No,
Scary
and
would
I
never
agree.
do it.
Well, I've given it some thought later in life. As a kid, 20 years ago, you could never get me to do it. But I'm wondering, is the experience different as a guy versus a woman? Because
Of course it is.
Well, for me, I wouldn't have the same fears as like a Gandhi would, because I'm like, okay. I'm not going to get stolen. But
Who wants that kidney?
But the opposite may be true. The opposite may be true, because I'm thinking, what if
Nate.
like I get there and people like, I'm not talking to this creepy guy. Women are Women are more easy to talk to, and so you get to know friends and people more as a woman. As a guy, it's like, get out of my world, get out of my space.
No.
I'm not. So I feel like I'd be like in isolation.
Yeah, Sam wants to comment on what you just said.
I just love how women are afraid of like danger and threats, and men are afraid of perceived social situations. That's the difference here.
Yeah, I don't want to go and feel alone. I want to be able to talk to people without them like judging me.
Yeah, you
He
don't want to get
wants
your
to
feelings
pick
hurt.
up at the
for
club.
Oh, no,
So that's your thing. You don't want to be alone.
I don't.
I know,
alone.
but I think being alone is exactly what you need. I mean, Jill,
Yeah.
when you were in Charleston by yourself,
Yep.
were you seeking out conversations with others, or they just happened organically? And or if they didn't happen, you're totally fine with it. You're okay not having to talk to someone.
I don't know if it's a Southern thing or if I just am a strange New Yorker that always has her guard up, but everybody talks to you down there.
Right, they do.
But as soon as I hit my layover in Atlanta, the conversation started. Everybody was chatting away during the mechanical issues. Anywhere I went to grab I would grab a smoothie a day. They would talk to me. I got invited out to brunch by somebody that I ran into in the street
Did you go?
with him and his
Love that.
friends. I did not go because it turned out he was trying to hit on me, and I didn't want to deal. I'm married, happily married, so I didn't want to deal with that nonsense.
Yeah.
But everybody was super friendly. The one thing I regret doing, I was nervous about eating dinner alone, and the first night was a little strange. That the second night I ended up eating at Chipotle by myself, and it was the worst experience I had.
Yeah.
And I vowed not to do that again. So
Yeah,
I
you don't
went to
wanna
a
travel.
rooftop bar and had sushi the next night. And I went to another restaurant the following night and actually met a nice couple from Chicago. So it was,
Wow.
they talked to me.
And there you have it. Did you swing with them?
I did not.
the unicorn?
I did not.
You know what? That's why it's great to eat at the bar. That when I'm somewhere by myself, I go to the bar and eat there. And you know, if you do need to have a conversation, there's always the bartender or someone next to you or whatever. Or you can just
Yep.
eat.
And like Gandhi said, she's worried about getting kidnapped. I don't drink, unless it's like a special occasion. And they were like, "Oh, you can have a drink," and I'm like, "No, like I'm traveling alone. I don't know where I am. I didn't want to risk anything. Like I was super careful with that kind of stuff.
Good call.
So you're going to do it again.
I will do it again."
Nice.
Love that.
All right. I'm
Life
next to
changing.
And
line.
the appreciation from the kids and the husband when I returned, it's like a whole new family.
Yes.
Look at that.
That's the best part.
All right, Jill.
Yep.
Jill, it's been a pleasure speaking with you. Thank you for motivating all of us to go travel on our own. I think our
Do
August
it.
vacation. I think I'm going somewhere by myself.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
look at you.
Bye, everyone. Bye. Anyway, Jill, love you for listening. Have a beautiful day. Thanks for sharing.
Love you guys. Love.
But, all right, guys, thank you.
Bye-bye.